Good morning. Morning, folks. Hope you are well. Amira, James, Leon, Silver. Happy Wednesday, hump day, as they say. I was annoyed that that recording didn't record yesterday. I think whenever I touch this microphone, just like touch it, sometimes it just cuts out for YouTube, but doesn't cut out for Discord. It's very strange. Anyway, so I'm not gonna touch it today, and I'm gonna do another video, like a proper YouTube video, on. Let me just move this a little bit. On what I was talking about yesterday. Is it Thursday? Is it Wednesday or Thursday? No, it's Wednesday. Wednesday, right? I'm going to do a proper YouTube video on the kind of 6 months, so the people that didn't see it yesterday can, anyway, just a proper YouTube video on that, because I think it's a very important topic, and hopefully a video that, people can kind of come back to and realize that, if you're having a tough time, that this happened, and, reminds in your brain, etc. So I'll do that today, hopefully get out by tomorrow or maybe tonight. Let's see. Same to you, edited. No worries, mate. Right, let's talk about the markets. Not much to look at today, which is absolutely fine by me, but I've put in my order for this USD CAD trade. Obviously been talking about it for quite some time. Now, the interesting thing about this, right, and I was going through this morning, right, because obviously we were stalling here a little bit, stalling at this point in time, and I actually had my level a little bit higher. And what I wanted to kind of decipher, because obviously I want to be involved in this trade, was where's the market respecting, right? Hey, Ash. Morning, Ash. Where's this market respecting? I'm going to try and move this just a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't cut out. Okay. So I initially had my my level up here, but I think, again, looking over where this market is respecting, I think there is a cleaner level and a clearer level. Right, so I'm happy with getting our third structure here. So we've got our first initial basing structure, right? We've got a nice ABC pullback, right? Creating that basing structure for our second. A little bit of slippage here. There might be a slight smaller level. That's fine. I'm okay with that. And then we come down creating our third structure. So with everything that's going on with this trade, right? And the fact that, I see that the market is probably more geared towards this level here rather than this level up here, has made me okay taking the breakout where it is. Now, if we do get some potential dollar weakness coming in, I'll do the DXY in a second, it would be okay because we'd end up creating B wave here. So if it does come down, we create an ABC, which obviously I can take breaks on B wave. Anyway, either way, I'm happy taking this break. I've got my my stop underneath the latest swing. We've got our 20-period catch-up, we've got our accumulation, we've got our three structures, we've got our higher time frame confluence, we've got our US dollar strength, we've got our slightly risk-off nature, we've got our oil potentially falling. Everything about this trade that I like. That doesn't mean to say that it's going to be a winner, more and down, but I do like this trade. It could be a slight wedging structure here on small time frames. Either way, it's nice. If for example, we do come down, or let's say we accumulate here, all right, let's say we accumulate here and potentially get this, I'll re-put this trade in with a new anchor, so we get a slightly better risk to reward. Now, if we do get triggered, I will be looking down at the 30-minute for our latest anchors, i.e. for our new trade management system, which we are looking to get in place at some point this year, and I will let you know where that is, obviously. But yeah, daily is good. Weekly is good. We look to be breaking above this 200, not really looking like as much of from a weekly sense corrective. I mean, it could be. Yes, it could be. Anything can happen. Just thinking about recent weekly price action here, above that 200 looks pretty good, and it is quite a major level. It is quite a major level. That's obviously not the right line, but you can see what I mean. I'll just bring this across here. There we go. So for me, yep. I like USD CAD long, makes absolute sense to my mind. Okay, let's get into the SPX. Morning, John. Is the audio coming through okay? I know sometimes if I look this way, I'm against it. I think I maybe need to put my microphone coming straight towards me. But let me know if the audio is all right. Okay, SPX, bias remains the same. Decent daily close yesterday. We are on the 20 period, maybe a slight reaction here. Yes, we could continue within this corrective here. That is obviously anything is on the cards, but my bias will remain the same. Corrective potentially over. Certainly if we get a break kind of on this channel corrective, let's say. Channel corrective here. Breakdown, but certainly B wave closes, something around here. Breakdown below would look pretty good for that risk off sentiment to continue. And potentially US dollar to if it does do that, potentially US dollar to continue to strengthen up. Yeah, thanks, mate. So the dollar's in slight pullback mode. 4-hour perspective, you know, we could be getting that complex back to roughly around that 20, kind of like we had last time, albeit I think price action, it looks a little bit nicer on our latest leg than it does on our previous one. All right, I didn't really particularly like this price action, but this looks a little bit better. So corrective back, I think that would be my bias to the 20. Do I think it needs a deeper corrective from a daily perspective? Possibly, yeah. Possibly, yeah. You know, we're getting our indecision. We're actually got our battle bar here. So our doji bar coming at the top here, coming on high volume, a battle bar, a BB between buyers and sellers. Who is going to win? Let's wait and see. I'm going to say pullback. If, for example, on the 4-hour, you don't get something down here, like roughly if it does decide to come down here, you don't get something, then you could probably move on to the daily and say, okay, maybe we get a daily corrective before we push on in this dollar. That is obviously the bias. Dollar longs is still absolutely the play, I think, and it will continue to be until things massively change. So pull back to that 20 potential in the daily, but watch these smaller time frames for a potential ABC. You can see here potentially it's setting up, potentially ABC for continuation. I could see that happening. I don't think momentum to the dollar is stalling just yet, but I could be wrong. I do worry about that daily. I do, and we know the daily's the highest time frame. Now, if we go back to, I think we were talking about Aussie Swiss the other day, right? Who was I talking about Aussie Swiss with? Here, where I wasn't massively comfortable with that digestive phase on the daily chart. And, you know, we're not getting that follow through just yet. So it just shows how powerful these dailies are. And also saying that, Aussie yen yesterday was a good trade. And this is something like, again, this was impulse, right? I wanted to be in that trade because the context was nice. The setup was great. The catalyst was there. You could either have taken it on this bar or this bar. Or could you have? Was that volume signature right? Hold on. Well, actually, you could have taken it on that engulfer there. You could have taken that as a breakout retest here. And this is why I always talk. I'm so massive on higher time frames. I think that's, again, maybe where another part of my edge comes from is because I just wasn't comfortable, right? And we talked about this yesterday. Even though I like the daily, it was that kind of weekly that was putting you off a little bit of, should we short the Aussie yen right now? Risk sentiment, yes, it made sense to short the Aussie yen. It still does to me. But we're not seeing that pressure and that strength coming into the yen, even though the market is, has been falling as much as it has. So, these are the things that we kind of forget as we go along. Then maybe we're annoyed that we haven't made X% or Y%, but you forget about the trades that you don't take. That would have been a loser, right? So, I'm perfectly happy with the fact that even though I wanted to be in that, my gut feeling was telling me don't take it, right? And when you start to see it go down, like for example, let's say you took that engulfer here, you're happy, right? And you're thinking, okay, this is going to be a winning, but we know that things can change very quickly, and that's exactly what happened. So if you had that gut feeling that something about those higher time frames, like I did yesterday, right, wasn't right, I would be really annoyed if this happened and I took it, because I had that, like I knew it in my mind. I shouldn't really be taking that. And again, good things. The best position is sometimes not to have a position on at all. Okay, today we've got two pairs. We've got the Euro Yen and the USD CAD. Obviously, only going on to USD CAD, but I'll talk about the Euro Yen. Euro Yen here breaking structure to the downside, changing trend from an uptrend to a downtrend here for me. I'm not really fancying this as an ABC corrective. It's kind of gone too far for that to happen for me. So playing this to the downside makes sense. Euro has been weak, potentially partially down to USD strength, but you know, the data coming out of it ain't great either. Either way, irrespective of that, we've broken structure, and context is pretty good. Again, another AB potential C here, looking for a breakdown, possibly around that 200 resistance, breakout retest, maybe not one for today, but something that could be setting up for the week ahead. 4 hours good, going with, again, like I said, going with that trend. I wouldn't mind if, you know, there is a possibility on the 4-hour chart here as well. So I don't mind if this pushes, and, you know, we could essentially potentially look for an aggressive entry on the 4-hour, or obviously a breakout. Still a little bit of ways to wait on that, but you know, I do like where euro yen is, and I'll be looking for a breakout of this area. This context is nice, pretty much A class in terms of context on the trading time frame. Yes, maybe are we getting on board at the end of a move? Possibly, but I wouldn't really consider that right now. I wouldn't consider that now. I kind of like where it is. So let's see if that sets up. Let's see if that sets up. And I've got my extra 10K up to 21. Here, you can see there, 21. It took me about 8-9 hours to make it, give me the extra 10 grand essentially. Obviously, I've kept my money in there, so I'm on 21. So my idea is to get to 23, because that would be the 10%, you know, from the 20 grand. I've just got an extra buffer. So my buffer now, I think, is, so 1,000 is an extra 5%, plus my 8% is 13%. So I've got a 13% buffer instead of an 8% buffer. I'm not interested in taking any money out right now. 20 grand doesn't interest me. 40 grand doesn't really interest me. You know, I'm waiting to get to that 80, and then obviously the 160, where it starts to become a lot more interesting, certainly from the 80K. But if I can move up to 40, again, I'll keep that 3K in if I get my 10%, which I'm a little bit more confident now, because the first stage is the hardest. I've got a little bit more drawdown with 13. If I can continue to get that up by the time I get to 80, take something out, you know, and start paying myself at that point in time, that'll be great. So they seem to be good. They seem to be very professional. Everybody's getting paid out, which is great to see. I've seen a few 10K payouts, some 8K payouts, and there's no complaints on the Discord at the moment. So let's fingers crossed it all seems to be okay with Sai, because I tell you, if my worst case scenario, and this is the only thing I worry about, is if I take some time, because obviously it's taking me a few months to go from 10 to 20, might take me a few months, maybe a week, you know, whatever is going to happen, to build up to, let's say, 80, 160, then I take some money out, and then they go under. That's my biggest worry with Sai. So as the time goes on, as the months go on, you get a little bit more confident, and I have actually messaged them, because I speak to the guy on direct messaging online. So I sent him a message yesterday saying, listen, look, I'm going to ask you honestly, you know, are you going to have, I know he's going to say no, but are you going to have a trouble? My worry with this is if I go out and I start making more YouTube videos on it, etc., and promote people to it, I don't want to look like an asshole if you go under, you know, essentially. So are you confident in your ability to make these payouts? So we'll see what he says. I'm pretty sure he'll say yes, because he's got to say yes. But anyway, 21K. Next one is interesting. The 40K is interesting because the next one after that is where you can make some decent money. And that's what we're interested in. We're interested in the buffer. If you're looking to do Sai or whatever you're doing, obviously it's not about how much money you make. It's all about that buffer. That's all it's about. You keep creating. You can keep just saying, right, if you want to do Sai, let's say, for example, or FTMO, whatever, you know, and you're okay, just keep that buffer in, keep increasing it. Because if you get that 20 or 30%, think in terms of your psychology, how much easier it is to trade knowing that you've got a 20% buffer. Because I know if I get to that 20, 30%, it's very, very, very unlikely that I'm going to lose that account. That's the most important thing. The buffer, capital protection, and in doing that, and also you think about the psychology in having that buffer, gives you more freedom, and it doesn't make you force things because you don't need to. You know, you're only interested in that capital protection, and it helps you trade better because you're not under as much pressure. Certainly if you lose one or two. I mean, it certainly massively helps. Right. So yeah, I'm in USDCAD. Anything you guys want me to look at today? Pound seems strong this morning. Exited my sell and now in long GJ. Let's have a look at GJ. The yen's funny. This yen is just funny. You know, I can't get my grips around it. GJ long around here. Yeah, maybe. The worry is this, right? So the worry is this. Are we in this from here for breaking down underneath this area? Potentially. Let's have a look at the 4 hour. Four-hour bullish case scenario could be looking there. It's a hard one to predict, actually, GJ right now. Maybe you break out of this structure here. Would look decent for longs. I just think if that SPX falls, the yen has to come into some sort of strength. You know, you think about where the UK index is. Let's have a look at the UK 100. You know, it's not, from a daily perspective, this ain't looking good. You know, I had to take the 4 hour breakout off of it because this was getting too long in range for me to consider it. Now, if it does come back down, I can reconsider it. But, you know, will it take a few days and then we see potentially towards the end of the week some real risk-off nature coming in, which then would maybe coincide with that dollar pullback for continuation, maybe coincide with just some yen strength, and then let's see. I don't know. But then you look at this. Actually, you look at this. I mean, what is developing right now is actually pretty nice on the hourly. Not something that I can take, but you can technically look at this as a head and shoulders breakout. A, B, C. There's your catalyst coming on high volume. Rejection of the. I'll zoom in on this. Yeah, maybe, John. But, you know, you can look at there, A, B, C. Again, I can't take this. High volume coming in, rejection of that 200, rejection of that 20. Head and shoulders and small time frames. In terms of that hourly, yeah, I can see a long bias for sure. That's actually pretty nice. Whether it follows through on London Open, because London's open in 12 minutes, we'll have to wait and see. But that's actually not bad. I just worry about those higher time frames, and I worry about the yen because it has been a little bit strange, gaining some strength. Oh, sorry, that's the UK 100. That's not the pound yen. Sorry, mate. Anyway, that looks okay on the UK 100. So maybe you could get pound strength today because of that. If that decides to push on, obviously UK market will affect the pound at some level. Let's have a look at GJ 1 hour. Sorry. I get confused sometimes, guys. I'm just looking at everything. I get confused what I'm looking at. Yeah, I mean, you could see today. I wouldn't be surprised if it pushed. It just depends on how far it does. But that could be a good indication, potentially, if we close like this for maybe you're right. Some pound strength today. Maybe you're right. But I do like UK 100 daily shorts. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anything else you guys want me to look at? Let's see. Before I head off, gonna look at another apartment today. Getting all my stuff ready. It's amazing all the stuff that you have in your house that you don't realize you have. Just all the crap that you haven't used for like years. So it's actually quite a good thing to do, where you just streamline everything. Little things that you can do. So anyway. Nothing else? Alrighty. Well, I'll leave it there then. Have a lovely day. I will see you all in the morning, and trade safe. Cheers. Peace. Oh, I'll put that trade out. I'll put the trade out after as well so you can see it. Anyway, you know it. All right, guys. Take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye.